So then we're now to the mother of holidays, Christmas. There's a lot to say, Sheikh, about Christmas, but it seems like it's something that is becoming more secular every year. You have these movements, keep the Christ in Christmas, and at the same time, you have a lot of Muslims. I don't want to say a lot of Muslims, but that's also a trend that's continuing to grow. Christmas trees in the house, gifts. Where do you, or what do you think is allowed when it comes to Christmas?
I was shocked by the fact that there is actually a good number of Muslims who, or even in Muslim country, who have a Christmas tree during Christmas. For me, it was shocking. It's like,
Some
wow.
of our favorite soccer players, yes.
Yeah, some of these celebrities, they do it for political reasons.
Okay.
Not for believing in it. It's just showing that I am like friendly to other religions and stuff like that.
Does that become okay, Sheikh? That's the question. Because everybody might have political reasons why they do it. I do it at work for my political reasons.
See, so I think in certain circumstances might be allowed. Like, for example, I have no problem at all for a country like Egypt, where the Sheikh al-Azhar will, for example, wish a happy holiday or for the
10% population of Christians that
yeah,
exist.
I think, or in a country where there is a civil war between Muslim and Christians,
Lebanon,
or
Syria.
things like where things so tension. And I do this on behalf of my people to send a message that we need to live in harmony and in peace and things of that nature, or there is a need for that. It's not for itself, it's for other purpose. I might be lenient towards that. Or the leader, the president of the country will issue and make that a holiday, an official holiday for the country, even though the Muslim country, like in Syria or in
Maybe Nigeria or a place like that.
Yeah, recently in Syria they did that. For example, in Egypt they consider this official holiday. That doesn't make them non-Muslim, or they did. In my opinion, that's accommodation. That's a respect. That shows a coherence in society. That's a bigger, higher goal.
Okay.
Again, you have to understand what's the level of these violations. What's the rule of this thing. Also, I would like to say, some people who feel that they are role model for people and stuff like that, it's between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I wouldn't open that door, because that's a custom fatwa for a specific case, for a specific individual. But in general, no, you're not supposed to have a tree. Even the tree is something came to Christianity from a non-Christian's background.
Sure.
But
they're not doing the tree necessarily because it's Christian. They're doing the tree because it's Christmas. It's like it's a really powerful.
Yeah, but where this has to do with anything with Jesus or anything like that, or like, it's still the tree of hope, there is so much shirk exists in Christianity belief.
Sure.
Other than just Jesus, Son of God.
Absolutely.
Which is praying to saint, praying to believing that when you hang your wish on a tree, it's going to come true. Some of them said, we saw those people have this tree, they hang their...
It's going to bless it.
It's blessed. And I go to some even Christian based, like Methodist or like, hospitals here.
Hospitals.
And you go to the prayer area and there is a tree, you put your prayer on it, thinking that will somehow bless. And it's not surprised, even among Muslim at one point, they used to have trees. Shaykh Muhammad al-Wahhab rahimahullah, in his movement, one of the things that he did here, it was very famous story, and people were so mad and angry at him and his followers when they removed a very well-known a tree that people used to go to that tree and rub their back on it, and they stay on it, thinking that the palm tree will bless them and will allow them to have children. And he ordered this to be removed. Umar radiallahu anh removed the tree of Samura, where the bay'ah. Why? Because he was worried that some people will come and seek that tree to be a source of blast.
That was the tree where the Prophet ﷺ took the pledge of 1,400 companions, Bay'atul Ridwan, the pledge of Allah's
why
acceptance.
did he remove it? Because there is possibility of shirk to be
people coming back to that tree
and do things of that nature.
Yeah. Man, if that tree still existed, oh my goodness, everybody would have visited it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So going back to the point, so all these practices of shirk, even if it does not has to do associated with the concept of Jesus, Son of God, or God, it's a form of shirk and it's not allowed.
Yeah.
So for Muslim not to do that, absolutely, we're not allowed to do anything of that. This is a pure imitation. That's a religious practice, even if Christmas has a lot of culture baggage in it. But still, in very aspect, there is a religious concept, and it's still associated in people's mind with Christ and stuff.
And it's not some small group like the Wiccans. It's the largest religion on earth.
Yes, I know. In Russia, in Egypt, they don't consider Christmas to be a religious holidays for them, because it is not that Christmas for them is not
a different
day, but still concept of Christmas exists. Okay, so with this being said, I would say the following. We don't celebrate Christmas because that's not something that we believe in. But we didn't need to be the enemy of Christmas. And I mean by that, the enemy of Christmas, like some Muslims said or think that we should not allow them to celebrate Christmas. Or some countries, they might say, or some people said, like, you know what, I have in my work, in my office, a Christian secretary. She want to have her Christmas decorations in her office. Let her do it. That's her religion. I don't need to be the enemy of it. I'm not offended when I see a Christmas cup in a coffee shop. I'm not offended. That's their religion. That's their right to do.
So for example, if there's a company that happens to have Christian memorabilia or some sort of imagery, I'm not writing them emails telling them please remove it or anything like that.
No, that's their rights. As I want my freedom. We living in a secular society, and I mean by secular society, a secular society that respects religion. So as I want my religion to be respected, I should also respect other people's religions and practice of religion. And with this being said, there is area where there is, in my opinion, especially living in these days in Western culture, it has to have a nuance to it. Okay, so in AMJA, in Assembly of Muslim Jurists North America, we discuss a lot the issue of greeting. Can I say to somebody, Merry Christmas?
Yeah.
Or wishing you a happy Christmas,
Happy
Hanukkah, things of that nature. See, we had a discussion about this. Part of the discussion was, some people said, when I say I wish you a happy Christmas or a happy or Merry Christmas, what's your intention? I'm asking you, if somebody said to somebody, Merry Christmas, have a happy Christmas, what's they're thinking about?
Merry Christmas. The honest answer is, I'm hoping that you have a good holiday.
What a good holiday means?
Good holiday means is that you got together with your family, you traveled, you came back safe, you enjoyed yourself. I'm not necessarily saying I hope that you went and worshipped other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at a church this weekend.
Nobody, most of the people, especially Muslim, when they do that, nobody in his mind, when he says that, okay, he think of it, you know what, I'm so happy that you prayed to Jesus today. I'm so happy that you renew your faith by you going to the church and praying to other than God. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
You know, some people put others in that narrow corner and tell me, no, it's not allowed. Kufr. Why? It's haram. It's just, why? He said, because when you say that, it's as if you are approving and, reinforcing the shirk that they do. if this mentality is correct, that means when Uqba ibn Amir, which is one of the fuqaha al-Sahaba who led the fatwa in Egypt, when he told a Christian person, one time there is an incident happened, Bukhari reports this in Adab al-Mufrad, and he said to Christians, alayka rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, then he was told he's a Christian, he said, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh lil Muslimin, but for you, أسأل الله لك يعني طول العمر وسعة الرزق والصحة. Something in that line. I pray for you to live longer and to have blessed children and wealth.
So he said to a Christian, he said, Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, peace be upon you and the mercy of Allah. And then he was told he was a Christian. So he said, may you have long life and expansive wealth and all that.
Because the mercy and the blessing should be said
for the
to
Muslims.
But for you, I ask for you to live a long life, healthy life, have wealth and children. Can go back to that mentality.
Yeah.
Can anyone come and say, oh, this Sahabi was wishing him to live longer so he can make more kufr?
No.
To have more money so he can spend money in more haram?
No.
To have more children who become more kuffar? That mindset will understand that statement the same lens. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
Because in Uqba's mind, never thought that way.
He's thinking of every goodness, not every evil.
Yeah. And ironically, al-Bukhari followed this with another narration. Okay? Of another companion who said to also Christians, wa rahmatullah. He prayed, and al-Bukhari as if he wanted to say,
even rahmatullah.
Even rahmatullah can be. And Uqba's opinion about rahmatullah wa barakatuh, he meant the absolute rahmah and the absolute barakah.
In the akhirah.
In the akhirah. But you are allowed to say wa rahmatullah to them because he said, قال, when I think Abdullah ibn Mas'ud who was asked, he said, وَكُلُّنَا نَعِيشْ فِي رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ. والشعبي also was asked and he said,
he's basically saying all of us are immersed in the mercy of Allah.
Yeah, Muslims and Muslims. And
Shabi
said, we're all enjoying the mercy of Allah. Yeah. Who can restrict it? So, in another word, if somebody said like, oh, you're praying for them to peace so they can make, nobody think that way. So when you say to someone, I wish you a happy holiday or a happy this or happy that, nobody think of it from the kufr. So that one argument. The other argument says, no, it still has a religious connotations. There is a blurry area. And also, we always been asked to be in the safe side. So in AMJA, what we said, I said, let's replace ambiguous greeting with clear one. Like, for example, I wish you a very good holiday. I wish you a good time with your family. I wish you a good weekend. I hope you have a good holiday. And the word Merry has a lot of religious connotations. We don't use Merry with other
Merry is
words.
never used for anything other than Merry Christmas.
So it has a religious connotation. So it should not be used.
I think Merry Christmas and Merry Go Round, like the carnival, that's the only thing that I can think of with Merry.
Yeah. So what that we say it's allowed for you to say, I wish you a happy holiday, happy,
It's too long of a sentence, Sheikh. It's like, Merry Christmas, I wish you a good time with your family. It's too long.
We have to have our own personality.
What about Happy Holidays? Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Yeah.
You just respond with that.
Yeah, Happy Holidays. There's no problem with that. And that's what AMJA came to and as a resolution. And I personally don't believe greeting is a participation.
Sure.
What Ibn al-Qayyim, for example, mentioned about, which is a lot of people use this, it's worse than eating pork and drinking alcohol.
So this is a statement of Ibn al-Qayyim where he said that greeting people is worse than committing zina on their holidays. Mushrikeen on their holidays is worse than zina. It's worse than drinking alcohol. And so people, I mean, it gets very popular every couple of years. It gets spread.
First of all, Ibn al-Qayyim is not hujjah in himself. Okay. His statement need to be backed up by proof.
From the Quran and
Sunnah. His statement is not a proof.
It's not an authoritative defining statement by itself, yes.
Yeah. But his respective scholars. But also, I want to say that he was talking about something completely different.
Okay.
He was talking about someone who greeting them, قال يهنئهم بشركهم. And he is greeting them and congratulating them for the shirk that they do. So Somebody said, may God bless you in your prayer to Jesus today. May God bless your worship of some kind of, I don't know how you can say that in a way that is clearly I'm celebrating the shirk, the kufr that you do.
So let's say, for example, somebody sees a prayer in a church and he says, "This is the most beautiful prayer I've ever seen in my life." Something like that.
Or Father bless me.
Okay.
Well,
that's a request for actual. He's engaged in that. He's not congratulating them anymore.
That's what worse than drinking and alcohol and even if we say greeting is haram, you cannot compare this haram. You cannot compare this haram to drinking alcohol and eating pork, which is by nas. There is a specific textual evidence that it's kabira min kaba'ir al-dhunub. Mal'oon, the drink alcohol. Even if you say greeting is haram. Unless Ibn al-Qayyim is not ignorant. He's a great scholar. Ibn al-Qayyim talk about kufr and shirk. Kufr and shirk is higher than the major sins. So definitely he doesn't mean just the greeting. He means the greeting that indicates shirk. So I'm just mentioning because every time people just keep quoting this a lot,
for sure.
And I want to clarify that. So I personally don't believe greeting is a participation in general. So if somebody say happy holiday, and again, even if we don't encourage the word, but even I personally, my personal position, I'm not very strict even with the word Merry Christmas, especially if it's in a respond, and if it is something it will be maybe in the highly disliked to do because it might have a form of connotation of imitation. In that realm, for me, it is not one of the clear. But I think in AMJA we should not do that. We should use and respect any collective opinion or ijtihad. I respect that. So I hope this just diffuse a little bit that kind of tension and people treat these issues with a lot of
Sheikh, let's talk about participation a lot more then, because there's a lot of different variables when it comes to Christmas. So number one is allowing, let's say for example, I have a shared space, and that shared space could be, for example,
may I interrupt you for a second before I forget my thought?
Sure.
I just want our viewers to understand something also. There's a huge difference between a lot of these fatawa and statements. Some of them are from traditional books of fiqh, written and said in certain time and circumstances different than our time.
Sure.
And I don't mean that, but the spirit and the thing around it can affect the language and how strong the language is and how it is used. Also, some of the modern fatawa in countries like Saudi Arabia, they don't have non-Muslims. So for someone to just a person in this area to bring or
who doesn't interact with non-Muslims
at all, and also these fatawa 50 years ago, Saudi Arabia now it's more open, more than it was 50 years ago or 30 years ago. So you have to take in consideration also that these circumstances and the environment and because it impacts the language of the word. Also things. You don't want to open the door, so you became more strict. After the fact that it became a popular and Ahmed B. Balwa you treated and you talk about it in a different language. So it's so important for people to understand these differences.
Contextualizing all of these things.
Exactly. And the one who can understand this perfectly and properly, scholars and students of knowledge, not the awam. That's why not just every activist, if the young student knowledge read this and come full force and give khutab and fatawa, ask Ahl al-Ilm and they will put it in its right positions and its right language and so forth.
Okay. So
come back to you. Sorry for interrupting.
No problem, Sheikh. That was a great clarification. When it comes to some of the practical aspects. So I have, for example, a workspace, or I'm an owner, I have employees, and then some of them are Christian. Sometimes you'll go into a restaurant in a Muslim neighborhood, Muslim area, everybody's Muslim, and you'll find a Christmas tree, for example, in that restaurant. Is that type of allowance, is that something that you would consider permissible?
No, I would not say that it's allowed for a Muslim to put a Christmas decorations and stuff like that if he is not for the public. I mean by public, like, 95% of my
Clients are
clients and
Muslim.
customers are Muslims. Like
Okay.
Bismillah halal stores and all Christmas like.
Okay. But let's say you're just a general restaurant.
No, in this case, maybe you are allowed to accommodate. I will not be as strict about it as long as there's no
I have employees that are Christian,
shirk,
for example.
shirk symbolic, like cross
Don't put baby
or
Jesus on
yes,
the
like
tree.
things of that nature.
Okay. But okay. So then there's the other aspect. They're just spouses. You have Muslim men who are married to non-Muslim Christian women, and they want to decorate the house. They want to do all of those types of things.
I mean, for her, if she owns a house, she has a
It's
share
his
in the
house.
house. Yeah,
But she's his wife, obviously.
Ulama rahimahullah said you're not allowed to prevent your wife from hanging her cross, to pray to. So if that's part of her culture, you can allow her to do that. Yes.
Okay. A lot of converts, Sheikh, struggle with navigating Christmas, and to some degree, if they're happen listening to stricter teachers or mashayikh or students of knowledge, even Thanksgiving might be a problem for them. But we've talked about Thanksgiving, so even specifically with regards to Christmas, what advice would you have for converts when it comes to going to Christmas, being present with their families during that time?
I'll show you a true story. Somebody called me, and he's a convert brother. And he said, Sheikh, I'm sorry to call you this late, but my mom in the driveway, he lives in Wisconsin, and it's snowing. And my mom, or his mother or his grandmother, I forgot, she's older, and she fall on the driveway carrying the Christmas tree. Can I go help her?
Oh my goodness.
Because that means I'm going to carry her tree.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate that he really cared about his deen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that mindset came as a result of that strict, like,
Yeah.
messages and like making people see this is the most evil thing and like as if it's haram for itself.
Yeah.
I said, absolutely, hang on, man, and go run, help your mom. She broke her back or her legs or her hand. I don't know. Just go help her.
Yeah.
You're not doing this because you intentionally want to celebrate.
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh, we're spending the day together decorating, but she cannot help, but I'm just doing it. So if your family are non-Muslims and they have a Christmas dinner, go. You're not celebrating Christmas, you're celebrating dinners with them, time for family. As you said earlier, a lot of time Christmas has two aspects of it. Yeah, don't go with them to the church. Don't let the priest put the
wafer in your
cookie
mouth,
in your mouth,
yeah.
whatever it's called. But go to the dinner, have dinner with them, have a good time with them. You don't need to put your gifts in the tree, But for example, if you want to give them gift, give it before Christmas. And a lot of people do that, or after Christmas,
But Sheikh, it's like, yes, some people do and some people, but what if I have a family that's like, no, we have a are you in or out? We've got a Christmas registry. It's all of the family members have somebody. Then would you say, okay, keep like
for a situation like this, like a person with non-Muslim family, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
You can do that. It's not haram for
You know why,
itself.
Sheikh? Because a lot of times, especially when people have recently converted to, they're still trying, their family's still trying to figure out who is this person now. And a lot of times converts end up burning bridges with their family when they first accept Islam. That takes them years for them to, if they ever do, right? That first impression of them as a new Muslim is all of these things are not
as long
allowed.
as they understand where I stand, where it comes from eternity, it comes from Aqidah, I understand. And I do this as part of culture, part of just connecting family. Absolutely. Don't cut ties. So what I will not be happy with, if a Muslim family or not Christian or anything doing that, or just for Christmas and stuff like that, that's a clear imitation, doing it for no reason other than the imitation.
Sure.
But for somebody who's a non-Muslim family, no. I'll give you also another example that.
Can I take them to church, Sheikh? I need to take my mom to church on Christmas.
You can drop her off to the church. Yeah, I think
Shafi'i allowed it.
Yeah, some of the fuqaha talk about that. Yes. as long as you don't participate in the prayers
service,
and a prayer to other than Allah. You can observe outside, like wait for them to finish, stuff like that, or in the back,
Make yourself useful some other way.
Yeah. So one thing is also giving like gifts,
Secret
like
Santa.
like money,
Okay.
like bonuses and stuff like that, and gifts to kids during Christmas, other than family members.
What do you mean giving gifts to kids?
Like some people will organize, for example, a toy drive during Christmas.
Yeah.
And things of that nature. I always say to the Muslim, many people asked me this question before. I said, let's do toy drive on our Eid.
Yeah.
He said, Sheikh, but it doesn't. Yeah, there's enough Christians to give gifts during the Christmas. I said, I don't think we should do that. I think we should. I think we should, as Muslims, during the Eid, we do toy drives and stuff like that.
Sure.
And give in our Eid to the society at large. But sometimes there is bonuses. It's very famous to give bonus through Christmas.
Yeah.
Can I receive this as Muslim? Yes, it's a gift. You can receive it if it's in your work. Can I give it to my employees? And is that called a Christmas gift to the employee? I think you're giving it this money to them because in Christmas there is a lot of expenses associated with it.
There's a vacation, even if you're not.
So
if you're not.
Yeah,
Christian.
if I give my employee, an extra $500 in February or January 10th, then they're already like the really expenses. That's why there is money giving in Christmas. So that's something to keep in mind. That, in my opinion, it is allowed for you to give these if you have employees or somebody working for you,
You give them their Christmas bonus.
Yeah. And these words, Christmas bonus, it meant the time, not the ritual or the actual itself.
Yeah. It could have
It's
just
the
been
season.
considered the end of the year bonus. You could name it something else. What about Sheikh exchanging gifts? There's a lot of companies. It's just a culture of Secret Santa, exchanging gifts during Christmas. Do you have any issues with that?
If it's part of the culture of the, I consider all those part of the cultures in the halal realm.
Okay.
So
you consider it to be halal.
Yeah,
no
as
issues.
long as this is the culture of the
People who are not Christian are participating. It's no.
So everybody in the company doing that, that's fine.
Okay.
And if you want to avoid that, just not feeling comfortable, you just let them know.
Absolutely. Sheikh, how important is, I want to ask you, like, the spirit, because when we're talking about Muslims now, to come back to Muslims who are in and of themselves celebrating.
Just clarification, because some question came to me about this extended gift.
Yeah.
Don't do it in a manner, just do it in a manner, like, if it's under the tree or like things like that, I wouldn't do that. But I will just, you have to talk to them. Also, we have to have our own personality exist as well as Muslims. And I want to be part of it. But there is one thing I can do, there's another thing I cannot do. And have this honest conversation with them. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's what actually I was going to ask you about, because there's something to be said about the spirit that the Muslim should have when it comes to this. Like, how important is the idea of Surah Al-Kafirun, La a'budu ma lakum dinukum waliya din? How is that meant to be presented during the holiday season, do you see?
I think it's more important for it to be recognized the year long. And I don't need to wait for Christmas to tell people that I don't believe in Jesus, Son of God. And the only time Christians talk about Jesus. It's not the most suitable time for you to talk to. You talk to your kids about it and your family about it. Just think it's very important. But for Christians, stuff like that, all year long, they should understand. I'm not a Christian. I don't celebrate Christmas. But it doesn't mean that I hate, like, you guys as workers or neighbors or anything like that. We live together in harmony and peace, So that's just, for me, that's what it is. Just, you have to have your identity as Muslim recognized and clear, Even when I participate in gifts, my gifts, I'm not gonna put a a Santa on it and around it and stuff like that. I don't do stuff like that. You know, I don't give like haram gifts. I don't accept haram gifts.
When you say you don't accept haram gifts, that's a great point, because a lot of times people, if they don't know, and you'd be surprised, Sheikh, I mean, no, you wouldn't be surprised, but people would be surprised how much people aren't aware of the details of what we might accept. So many times Muslims will say, somebody gifted me wine. What do I do with something like that? I can't accept it and I can't re-gift it? Am I not allowed to re-gift
You're not allowed
something?
to re-gift it.
If something's haram, it can't be re-gifted.
According to the majority of the fuqaha, yes, the only thing with the khamr is to spill.
Okay.
But you said, I can't take it. If somebody else take it.
That's up to them.
Because gift will not be considered gift until you accept it.
Should I accept it because me spilling it is better than somebody else drinking it?
No.
Why not?
You don't have to.
Sheikh, that's very logical. Somebody else is going to get drunk off of it.
No,
I might as well take,
if I know
I might as well take all of the khamr from everybody.
Because if I know it's khamr and I accept it, that's a
Me
problem.
accepting something haram.
Yeah.
Is do you feel like pork is different?
No, same thing.
So I don't accept pork.
Yeah,
or
I don't
anything like
accept. I don't accept cross. I don't accept gold.
Men's gold, Sheikh.
Yeah, a gold watch
Yeah.
or a gold haram for men to have.
Sheikh, it can be. It's still gold. I can figure something else out with it. I can
الفقهاء
get it melted.
رحمهم الله said, كل ما حرم.
Yeah.
Anything that is haram for you to use, you're not allowed to keep. As long as you're not allowed to use mutlaqan, in all form and shapes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Gold, I can melt it. I'll figure something else out with that gold.
If you melt it, that's fine, but
Okay.
you don't keep it. In Christmas, a lot of people do conferences for family to gather. A lot of us, we don't have a lot of our family members. So you know what? My community is my family. So we come together. A lot of Jewish community do the same thing in Christmas, where they gather and they do activity together as... So non-Christians, they do stuff like what we do as Muslims as well. We're not something unique for us. So
taking advantage of the holiday, even if we're not celebrating it, that we take advantage of the holiday by doing something that's alternative and engages your family or the community.
Absolutely. I think that's a great, I 100% support that. And I don't see any mixed messages